How you doing? I'm Dave Reinhold. Today I want to show you guys the Festool Kapex, the KS120. So over the course of having my YouTube channel, people have contacted me and asked me, I see you have a Kapex, you've never once talked about it. Would you buy another one? Would you recommend it to other people? And the simple answer is yes. If somebody said we're going to take away all your tools, you're only allowed to pick one of the tools that you currently own, what would you keep? It would be the Kapex. It's my #1 used tool. It's my most favorite, my most loved tool that I have. I really enjoy using this saw every day. There's a lot of features that this saw has that other saws don't, and I'm going to take you guys quickly through them and show you some of the features that this has. So we'll start off with the simple feature, and one of them is obviously just doing your miter cuts. So to operate your miter cuts, this locks it down when it's in the down position. You press this button and it overrides the detents. It's got a detent at 0, 15, 22, 5, 30, and 45. It also allows you to go all the way up to a 50-degree angle on this side and a 60-degree on this side. Really cool, allowing you to do that. So positive stop, lock it down. Also, if you notice on here, there's little green indicators. Those are really cool because it allows you, obviously the arrow's on the 0 and there's halfway mark, so it allows you to see and get you to a 1/2 degree, or you can even visually see to 3/4 degree or even a 1/4 degree and lock it down. And so really super accurate. You can really fine-tune your saw and get into really precise cuts. So coming over onto this side, we're going to get the head of a saw up. Everything on Festool that usually has some sort of a big function is green. So we'll start right here by the pin. Pull that out, head of the saw comes up, turn this knob, and now it's free to flow. Now as you can see, the head of the saw is actually sliding on the rails which face forwards, which is a really cool design, really neat design. It allows me to put this saw up against the wall when I'm working. It allows not to have these rails sticking off on the job site where people are going to bump into them when they're trying to go around the saw. So I really like having that. Come around here, the head of the saw is going to drop. There's 2 triggers on this saw. The head of the saw is going to drop by this one, and this will turn it on. So you can't just drop the head of the saw down with, you have to almost hit both of them, or at least this bottom one, to lower it, and this will turn it on. So nice little safety feature. One of my most favorite features on the saw has to be the bevel gauge. So it's super big, really easy to see and read, and it makes me, it allows you to fine-tune your bevels. So you start the operation on that by this handle back here, which you flip up. Now there's a knob on here. This knob allows it, this is a dual bevel saw, so you can bevel to the left and to the right. When it's in the 0 to 45 degrees, it allows it to bevel to the left. When you switch it to this, it's 45 both ways, right and left. And when you switch to this, it allows you to go all the way up to a 47 degree left and right. So we'll switch it back to the 0 to 45. Now, right here is how you actually operate the saw and move it. You just simply turn this knob and you can bevel it, and you can really fine-tune it into 1/2 degree and then lock this head of the saw down. Really cool. So I love that feature, that I can see this clearly, and I know as I get older I'm not going to be able to see very well, and I have no problems with this. Now the fences can easily move out by another green action lock. Slide them right out. Slide them right back in, cam action down, boom, done. So that's another good feature. Another cool feature on here is the fast fix. So there's onboard storage for your cord. There's actually a handle when you're carrying it, so it makes it super comfy. But back here is the tool. Spin this loose to change a blade. Pop it out of the way. And with this fast fix locked, the saw arbor is locked now, so I can easily change this with one wrench. I don't have to fumble with anything. Really neat feature. All right, so those are some of the quick features on the saw right here. Come back, we're going to show you guys some of it in use. All right, one of the other features I really like about the saw is this V-channel groove. This V-channel groove has a lot of different functions. It allows you to clip on some of the accessories without having to drill into your saw or do something funky. There is the Kapex UG stand, which I did a review on before, so check that out. And there's also my homemade stand, which is right here, which uses the Festool crown stops. That just simply locks right into that V-channel. I can tighten it down, which we did in one of my other videos. Boom, now my saw has an extension, has a crown stop. Super easy, no modification to my saw, and I can pop it in and out with one hand. Is awesome. So that's a really cool feature. The other thing is the dust extraction. It has a port back here. This is a 36mm hose. It can use a 27 or a 36. The 36 will slip over it. The 27mm will go in it. You do get a lot better dust extraction with the 36mm hose, and mine is shortened, which I found helps it even better. But one of the really cool features that makes this, you know, such a good dust extraction saw is this little rubber booty here. This little rubber booty really helps. It catches, it's super wide, it catches a lot of the dust, and we'll show you that in a second. And just snaps on and off. Sometimes when I'm doing crowns and stuff, that does get in the way, so I have to pop it off. But it does still take a lot of dust out of the air. I haven't even used another saw that can capture as much dust as this. So that's a really neat feature. Coming back on here, drop the head of the saw down, there's a button for a laser and a variable speed. Some people say, why do you need a variable speed on the chop saw? Well, I found it's very useful when I'm doing, you know, kitchen installs, when I'm doing those little tiny moldings, the scribe moldings. I lower the speed of the saw down, backed with a full backing fence so that the small pieces don't fly back, and I don't break them down. So here's the saw. Start it up. It's in speed 6. Lower it all the way down to 1. And back up to 6. Now over on this side, it actually has a little chart too. So if you change the blade, and everything is color coded from Festool, like we have the green blade, the blue blades, yellow blades, and it'll give you a recommended where you should kind of put your speed. So when whether you're doing aluminum or, you know, working with solid surface or wood. So really neat. So the guard on this is tremendous. I mean, you can't roll this guard back. It's got a safety feature on there. So you have to press this bottom button and the guard will roll back. So I really like that. It is a very safe saw. Also, if you're working on a job site and you're leaving, or there's a lot of other guys on the job site and you don't want them using your saw, really neat feature is the fast fix. So I kind of will turn this sometimes. I'm on a job site, and now the saw won't turn on. So people come over and try to make a cut while I'm not around. They can't figure out how to make it work. I pop it back off, and I'm off and running. So I really like that. All right. So one of the other neat features is the lasers, which is this green button back here. You press it once, and the lasers turn on. Now, if you don't use your saw for about 30 minutes, the lasers will shut off. Really neat. Gives you 2 laser lines. So that's also cool because you can punch holes in here. Use a small Allen key that's provided and adjust it. So you have separate controls for the left and the right side laser. Really neat. Allows you to fine tune it and get it right exactly where you want it to be. So one of the benefits they give you is this Mitre Finder, and it stores right on the tool. So you pop it out, and it allows you to find, you know, split your miter in half. So if you were working on an inside corner, you could butt this right in an inside corner, line it up, lock it down, bring it right over to the saw, and all you're going to do is put it against the fence and line up that laser directly on the dotted black line. And it even works on outside corners because these slide out. So if you're doing crown molding on a cabinet, you can bring it right over, put it on the outside, tighten it down. You're going to slide these back in and do the same thing. Bring it over to the saw, and you can see it's an exact 45. So really cool. Allows you to adjust your miters and get them absolutely perfect. So they also provide with the saw a hold down clamp. Now 90% of the time when I would get a saw and I would get one of these, I would just throw it away. But this one is really unique. It's super easy to use. It works very, very well, and it stores on and off the tool really fast. there's a hole on the left and the right hand side, and you put it on backwards and drop it in, and you can spin it forwards. So what makes this beautiful is it's one action. Push it down, lock it down, and it's strong. Pop it up, and it's out of your way. So you put a block of wood on there, drop it down, cam it down, and we're good. Now it's not going anywhere. So let's make a cut, and you can actually now see some of this dust extraction. One of the things I like to do with this saw is I have a tendency when I first got it was to cut and just lift it up and keep going. You want to let the saw almost come to a complete stop before you pick it up. The fence works so well, I mean the guard works so well, it puts a lot of pressure, and I've found that doing sometimes small pieces and miters and bevels, especially the funky cuts, it'll push so hard sometimes the piece will shoot out like a rocket. So it's best to leave this head of the saw down until it completely stops. There's a break in the saw so the blade stops really fast. And it's just something to get used to. It's a lot safer. So you could see how well the dust was extracted on there. Let's do one more half cut. There's little to no dust, especially in the air we're breathing. When you pop this hose off, you can see just how well the dust extraction works. That's one cut, and the saw is completely covered with dust and debris. Imagine working all day like that. No thank you. So by putting the dust extraction and using it in somebody's house, it really allows me to keep it cleaner, neater, a lot less cleanup time, and I can work in somebody's finished house, just throw a drop cloth down and not have to worry about getting dust everywhere in their house. So it really saves some time. Okay, another really neat feature that the saw has is its ability to do trenching cuts. Right here on this hand, you just drop this down, and now it's in the trenching mode. So it allows the head of the saw only to go down a certain degree. You take that knob and you turn it, and the head of the saw lowers and raises. So you can simply put a mark on your board, drop the head of the saw, and fine tune it right into where you gotta go, just by turning that. Really neat. I like that a lot. So you can, and then flip it out of the way. Saw operates like normal. Flip it down, and now it's going right back to that trenching spot. So really neat feature that you can do, and it doesn't get in the way. So we can flip it down. We can do a little trenching. Simply flip the piece over and you can finish it. Done. That was super simple, and now we can flip it out of the way and use the saw like normal. That's another really cool feature the saw has. So now you can see exactly what makes the Kapex so unique. I mean, it packs a whole bunch of different features. It's super user-friendly. One of the things I didn't really go into was everything is meant to work with each other. Obviously, we have the V channel that works with the different components that Festool offers. When you take this saw and we set it on the MFT3 Kapex stand, which it's sitting on now, it's the exact same height as the Kapex. As the MFT3, which is really cool. And if you were working on the ground, you could simply grab a Sustainer 1, doesn't matter if it's a T-lock or a Classic. This Sustainer is the exact same height as the bed of the saw. So if you were working on the ground just doing a couple pieces, you can throw 2 Sustainers on either side of it and have a support for your material. Really neat. They think about everything. It's not just make a saw. They make the saw fit into the whole package. So that's why I really like Festool. And and this saw. But wait, there's more. All right, let's get into this. There's one more little feature that they do offer, and it actually is pretty neat. It allows you to stand up and get a little bit taller cutting capacity, being that this is only a 10-inch blade. You flip this down and you push it down into there. Now the saw will not slide back and forth on the rails, but it allows it to go deeper and utilize more of the blade, and this back piece comes up. So you get a much greater cutting capacity. I'm not too sure on the exact number of that, but I'll put that down below and everything like that. Also, the saw only weighs 47 pounds, which I didn't tie into, which is really cool. It's almost the lightest in the weight class, so it's really easy to carry, especially with the handles and the way it grips. Super comfortable in the hands. So that's overall the whole Kapex. One more thing I want to show you is it does cut really well. Here is a 4x6 womanized beam that I actually had in my backyard for my daughter's swing set, and this saw has no problem cutting through it. Let's take it out of the mode simply by pressing this button down, and now we're out of that mode. Again, put it in it, push the button down, we're out of that mode. So we're out of that mode, we got the dust extraction, we got it on speed 6. Let's cut through this land. So it had cut through it with no problem. But as you can clearly see, the Kapex does everything I've thrown at it. It's got so many different features other saws don't. That's why I picked this saw as to be my #1 favorite tool that I do own. I clearly think anybody that does buy it and does choose to purchase one or use one will really love it and find all these features that I've shown a great necessity in the saw. There's nothing else like it on the market. If you do purchase it from Festool, you do get a 30-day, no questions asked return. So if it isn't for you, you don't really like it, it's not what I explained, which I don't know how, you can return it. But clearly it is there's so many features that other saws do not have. I don't think anyone would be disappointed. But I'm Dave Reinhold. Hope you guys enjoyed this, got to see a look at the Kapex. I'll talk to you guys later.